All right, we are back. Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and I think I said that in the wrong order. We're back for Fear Street Part 2, 1978. I did a review for Part 1, and quickly I realized I went into this not knowing what I was getting into. Quickly I realized with Part 1, yeah, it's not geared towards my personal tastes. It is geared towards a younger crowd, and I have to give them credit. They do something that I think is definitely strategic, where it's got the rated R. You put the adult stuff in there, but it's definitely geared primarily towards a younger crowd. And I don't mean little kids, but I'm talking like, let's say 12 to 20 is a good solid place for a primary targeting point, or at least it feels that way. Anyhow, it has the nostalgia, so you're going to bring in some of the horror fans of Friday the 13th. I mean, 1978 it's built on that, which I'll give them a little bit of credit with Part 1, even though I wasn't a fan of that. I do appreciate some of the little things throughout. Being a horror fan, you're kind of easy to please when it comes to some stuff. If it's fun and it's got horror, you don't need it to scare the shit out of you, Same thing with this one. I was surprised that, let me finish that thought real quick, though. Part 1, I felt, and I think what annoyed me the most, is it just ripped off stuff. Oh, Scream had this scene. Let's do that scene exactly. And I was expecting them to just rip off multiple scenes from Friday the 13th, especially in this. And I have to give them props for the fact that it doesn't feel as egregious. Maybe you guys can point out some other things. They definitely copied some stuff, but it doesn't feel cheating. Part 1 felt like cheating, but this one didn't feel like cheating. And these videos, by the way, I'm going to end the spoiler-free here in a second or a couple minutes, and it's more like a mini podcast. We're going to look at clips and discuss it, break it down, kind of dive into it. But like I said, with Part 1, it did feel like cheating a bit and ripping off other material. With Part 2, I found myself enjoying it a little more, which was weird because so many people loved Part 1. The people that loved Part 1, I heard they hated Part 2. And then I went into it expecting to really hate it, because if you loved 1 and I didn't like it and you hated 2, I thought for sure I was going to hate it. I actually really enjoyed the first 30 minutes. I have to agree. A number of people said, I think my daughter's cooking. I smell like food and I'm like going nuts here. She burning the house down? She didn't say she was going to cook food. But there's a good chunk in, not the middle, but kind of like hitting the end of the middle towards working to the end, a big chunk that's just kind of there. It's like just fat. I mean, stuff is happening, but it's just kind of grinds, it kind of slows down. It feels like a drag, and things are happening. Death is happening, killing's happening. And I think that's one of my biggest negatives when it comes to, even if I said, and I hate to admit it, but I actually enjoyed watching this for the hour and a half or close to 2 hours I spent watching it. I didn't mind it. There was a number of things that jumped out at me where I was like, yeah, that is dumb. However, when it came to, when it was all said and done, and this is what will finish the spoiler-free section, when it came to the end, if you're looking at this for like a bloody slasher, I remember reading an interview where the director, I think, said, oh, we filmed the second movie last, and by that time we were exhausted, and we just threw blood on everything. Oh, more blood, more blood. And I kind of expected, at least if I didn't enjoy it, it would be a bloodbath, right up my alley. And I made this argument with Part 1. There's a difference between blood and gore. And it's not the greatest movie, but I just watched it recently. Go watch some of the gory moments in Splinter, for example. This is blood. That is gore. There's a big difference between blood and gore. There's one scene in this that has gore, but it's CGI almost completely, I'm pretty sure, and it looks terrible. We'll break that down, but at the end of the day, Fear Street Part 2, 1978, which always weirds me out, because 78 is when Halloween came out. Maybe that's what they were going for, because Friday the 13th is a true ripoff by the creator's own mouths of Michael Myers, the structure, And that came out in 78. But, you know, blah, 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 Friday the 13th, I keep wanting to say Jason Voorhees. That, you know, came out in 80, 80, right? Is it 80? I'm losing my mind. Yeah, it's 80. So here's the thing is, the killing in here is like some blood, squishy sounds, and not much else. I think there's like one or two deaths, like deaths, and then we get a more emotionally tied death kind of scene in the end, and I even enjoyed that. There's a reveal that they're like, we got you, didn't we? And I know some people are going to be like, oh, you know, and you see it coming a mile away. And I won't say the reason why, but you can peep it in part 1 because they do something really stupid. Like they say someone's name, but they don't, they say it in a different way. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for that. Anyhow, so that's Fear Street. I can't believe I went 6 minutes on spoiler free. Let's dive into the spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, shut up and go watch it and then come back and let's dive into this. So the beginning starts really, really dumb. And I thought I was in for it. I was like, yo, I'm going to hate this shit because, you know, the kids from part 1, they go to the survivor's house. Now, keep in mind, her name is like C. Berman or Berman, something like that. And that was an immediate like red flag in my head because who does that? Maybe a phone book back in that time. Okay, I could kind of buy that. A newspaper, I think, is where they got the name from. Phone book, I can see it. A newspaper, I don't know. I don't buy it. Anyhow, the point I'm getting at is they make a big deal of this. They make you seem like the one sister is the one that dies. And the whole time you're like, yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. And sure enough, they did the old twist-a-roo. And I think for people who weren't really paying attention and just kind of went with the flow, that'd be a nice little reveal for them. So I don't think it's anything bad. I just think it was a really lazy giveaway doing the whole, first off, patting out the one character, doing the I'm sorry, I should have, yada, 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 the sister. It was just telegraphed a little too much. Anyway, so the two kids show up at her house and they knock on the door, you know, at first. And it's like, yeah, makes sense. But then they start like taking flashlights around her windows and crawling through her window. And I don't know. I hate when anybody in Hollywood does shit like this, but especially the horror genre where they're like, oh no, you know, this is the girl that was tormented. Look, she's got a lot of clocks. She's got OCD. Whoa, someone's breaking into her house. And we know, obviously, we're not morons. It continues from the last story. These kids wanted to get in touch with her. It's the two kids. I would love to sit down and say, why did you need this scene? Because it is so incredibly stupid. They break into her house for what? One of them should have got stabbed just to be like, oh, that was a bad idea. We should have just knocked at the door and said, hey, Miss Berman, let us in. We just talked to you on the phone. They didn't say anything. They pounded on the door, didn't say shit. Didn't say a word, didn't say Miss Berman. Why? Because the writer, director, whoever created this scene, and I'll shut up about it in a second, I was going to say he's an idiot, but it's not an idiot. They wanted to craft, for whatever reason, a artificially exciting scene that was garbage. Moving right along, anyhow. So this is the girl who survived in 1978. And this is where I said our first plot hole from part 1 kicks in because that was their big ending. There's no getting away from the witch. How the fuck are you still alive then, bitch? I mean, your situation was in 78. We're now in 1994. You're telling me that the witch is, there's no getting away from her? You got away from her. And then in this one, she's like, go as far as you can. Just don't let a bus hit you. And it's like, where the fuck are you right now? Because this shit happened to you. And unless these kids, I don't know. You're not far away, let's say, from the town. You're not far away at all. Matter of fact, I think she's like near town or in town. So you didn't move. You're not dead. You didn't move. You're healthy. I don't know. You got a lot of alarm clocks. You're traumatized. But I think that's just such a stupid plot hole. it really stopped me from enjoying a good chunk. But then we get through it, and we get the girl from Stranger Things. And she's got good charm, good charisma. I like her character from Stranger Things. She shows up. Some guy punches the shit out of her. Right here. Oh, man. I wish I did it. Yeah, right here. He just clocks the bitch out of her. Oof. Oh, she got air on that one. The stunt double did that. That probably wasn't even the actress. But if it was the actor, that'd be badass. You did good, kid. But look at that. Boof. Yeah, you can see there's a little mat there. Good amount of give on that ground. Still, though, I mean, man, you took one hell of a hit. So she takes a hell of a hit, and the bitchy girl, and again, we have the Sunnyvale, and then the Shady Siders, and I thought that was like a nickname, but that's actually the name. I thought it was like Shadyville, but they call them the Shady Siders, but no, that's like their legit name. This is the one thing that I saw was one of the clearest paying homage to the Friday the 13th being at the camp, and I loved it. And I think this is paying homage in a clever way. You have them at the archery, and then they shoot the arrow, and wham, we got a scene reminiscent of Friday the 13th part 1, right? Where, yes, it is the original, where the girl goes out, she's setting these up. I think they even look identical, if I remember right. And one of the guys shoots an arrow at her. Later, she's killed off screen at the archery range. Again, I like that. I dig it. I think that is cool little Easter eggs. But we get the setup of the characters. This is the one sister. You got Sister A, which there was something, real quick, there was just something off about the sister. She's cute. She's got nice charm, charisma. Her character was a little bit whiny. Got on your nerves a little bit, but I thought she did all right, you know? And there was something about her, though. Just the way she moved, the way she talked, the way she looked, the way and she doesn't look old, sure, but there was just something about it. She looked a little more aged. And next to her co-star, she kind of was looking like a really older sister, or in comparison. But again, not like old, but up there. And or like a counselor maybe, but they were talking down to her, and I was like, that's kind of weird. So sure enough, every time this happens, I'm like, Google, how old is this bitch? And it's like, she's almost 30. It's like, oh, okay. All right. But I'll have to give her credit. I would have said no older than 25, but I thought she was definitely, because I'm assuming these kids are like, we saw young kids. You're like 12 to 15-ish, and then the counselors are like, let's say 16 to 18, 19 maybe. But no, this bitch almost 30, bro. She's almost as old as I am. Jesus. I just turned 29 yesterday. All right, so she's got her boyfriend. She got red moss on her shirt, and this is cool. I like this. Because she got burnt, and it actually weaves into a good little storyline. Because she got burnt, she goes to the nurse. The nurse is like... the nurse is the mother to the one girl that killed people and then killed themselves. The nurse is Miss Lane. Miss Lane has a little freak out moment, but then they go back to get cleaning supplies. And I like this moment. She comes out and the nurse is all acting strange. And she walks out. Are we here yet? No? Did I skip it? Oh, so yeah, the boyfriend and girlfriend, the sister and her boyfriend are cleaning up.
Save you.
And the nurse comes out, and she's acting all weird, and she's got a knife, and she's like, no matter what happens, you're going to die. And then she goes and attacks him. Now, at first I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But it's not an annoying mystery. It's like, okay, this is kind of cool. An annoying mystery is like, why are only those two people nose bleeding? Which we know now is fucking stupid, because in this, if you go near the bones, or at least that's what they say, if you go near the bones of the witch, blood will flow. So I guess it's like, you would think it would be anybody who goes near it would get a nosebleed, but apparently it's only a select few. So far it's been only females, if I remember right. So maybe it has to be a female since she's a witch. I don't know. I'm just saying there's been multiple. That's why Dina's nose bled when she was on the bus, but no one else's nose. That's just stupid. Anyhow, But this mystery was like, why is she going to kill this guy? But later we find out she found the list that the witch had where the witch possesses people, and he was on the list. He becomes the Jason Sackhead ripoff. And that's one thing that pissed me off, I think annoyed me the most. He doesn't even wear the fucking sackhead in this until the end. She puts it on his head, and then she tries to, like, choke him with it or suffocate him with it. It's canvas, bro. He could breathe through that shit probably easy, you know? Anyway, so she's kind of choking / suffocating / ain't doing shit with the sack, and he punches her, and then when he stands up, it's all form-fitting. I don't know, man. It's like Spider-Man made it and pushed a button and went, you know? That was kind of weak sauce, but I was wondering how they would do the sack because it didn't seem like it fit. It kind of felt forced, and it was forced. She just threw it on his head, and there it is. I really thought they were going to do this, and I loved it. At first, it popped in my head, and by the time I thought about it, I couldn't shake it, and I thought they were going to do it. That's her boyfriend, right? The sister's boyfriend is Sackhead, but he doesn't wear the sack, so he looks like Tommy, which I like that as an Easter egg. Tommy Jarvis. You know, Jason Voorhees, yada, yada, yada. Anyhow, so he's Tommy. But he doesn't have the sack head, which looks stupid. Sackhead killer, the whole fucking movie, no sackhead. Anyway, but the girlfriend can't kill him, can't bring herself to deal with the fact that the person she loves, this sweet guy, is now sackhead Jason ripoff, knockoff Jason. So I thought the sister was going to put a sack on his head to fight him back, to be able to stab him, to be able to attack him, you know, to fight back, because she can't look at Tommy. It's not Tommy who's killing people. And I fell in love with that idea, and I was waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I'm like, that's how he's going to get. I know it. It's beautiful, because she even mentioned, she's like, I could never kill Tommy, you know? And nope, the one sister just chokes him with a bag, and he becomes Jason from Wish, if you ordered him from Wish. Anyway, so he fights the nurse, throws her off, and it got cool music to it, you know? I don't know if I have the sound on there, but I'll probably get claimed for the sound. So got cool music. The cops come. The nurse is crazy. What's going on? Now it introduces this crazy witch kind of nurse angle to the kids. The sister is like, they show friction with the sisters. That's something I liked but didn't, because they show friction with the sisters, but they keep one sister trapped for the whole movie. They don't even bond. They realize they're sisters, they're family. And when they reach back together again, it's that fear of the other one getting killed when they were separated after having it works if you want it, after having like such a strained relationship. That fear that the other one was going to get killed, when they finally reunite, they're all like, oh, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And it does work. But like I said, keeping them separated the whole time, I felt it was weak. I didn't like it. Anyway, so they're getting ready for this Color of War game or something. It's like tag, capture the flag. Anyway, so they go looking for why the nurse went crazy. A couple of the usual junkie kids. This girl I couldn't stand. The way she came off as a character, she's unpleasant to look at. She's just snooty. Her boyfriend seemed cool, but she was a real drag. She broke her ankle. I kind of laughed at her, but anyhow, they go looking for, obviously they're following the track now because they went to the nurse's station. They found the map. Now they're going to find the grave and where the witch's hand is and all that. So that's where their story's headed. Now when they go down there, somewhere along the lines, we see the fly again. The fly shows up and lands on Tommy, and this is after the nurse attacked him, and he's starting to not feel good, and it's a lot slower than we saw in part 1, so the continuity's a little off. Like Ryan, I think his name was, from part 1, he was just kind of chilling. I'm normal. A fly came up to him, and then 2 seconds later, he's trying to kill his girlfriend like ghost-faced from Wish. Anyway, so they're in this tunnel. Did he get the killing yet? Yeah, so here's the first kill. Oh, I think I passed it by a good amount. So here's the first kill. He goes up to the chick I couldn't stand's boyfriend. And We get a CGI gore scene, and this is one of the only gore moments in this whole thing. He looks cool. If they would have done 1 or 2 kills, maybe 1 or 2 scenes where he looks like a pissed off Robert Pattinson, you know, I don't know. He kind of looks like Robert Pattinson. Yeah, so we get a, you know, axe to the face, but you can just tell, especially the second hit. I'm going to pause it because it looks terrible CGI-wise. But at least it's some gore. If you wanted some gore, you got it. Like, this looks cool. Okay. Well, it was a split second. Yeah, right here. So this is... My God, that is bad. I'm glad they showed it just for a split second. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a shadow as well. And when the bat lifts, I think they forgot to track the shadow. Because maybe it's just how it looks, but... Let me see if we can do it. Wait. Yeah, it tracks off, but I think it's a little slower because it just looked terrible. But yeah, looks terrible. But at least it's some gore. Someone gets their head, I don't know, smashed in half. And then here's another image of gore. Yeah, just a gory mess. Now, that's gore, okay, but I think there's one more where you get just a scene of gore. As a matter of fact, I wanted to pick it apart because it's a girl with long hair and he straight chops her like this and she's got like gore going on, but you could barely see it. And her hair's still long, but like he chopped her in the face. And I so wanted like the hair to just be falling down, or her hair comes down and where he chopped it, there's like no hair. I thought that would have been such a cool visual, but they didn't go that direction. Anyhow, so yeah, so they're locked in the tunnel. Now Tommy is out in the world. They're in a maze, the tunnel maze where the witch was, where I believe it was the well where the witch threw her hand down. Again, you're picking up pieces. I only watched it once. I was doing other stuff as well, but watching it just to do the review. And they're leaving a lot of the witch stuff a mystery, obviously, for the next part. And I'm pretty sure it was just her hand in this maze where there used to be a well. I don't know. So that's what they're doing. Tommy comes out, and I will admit, this kid here, they don't do anything cool with the kill, but I thought they were going to have him in it for some type of, the fat kid comedian type of sidekick, but he just gets killed almost immediately. And I'll have to admit, I was like, oh, okay, shit, they're not pulling any punches. But in the same strength, or on the flip side, I should say, you don't get to know these people, so they're just, victims. And you don't see anything. You might see like a splurt of blood, but so none of these people have anything going on. I do get a kick out of the world building. I like that. You got the sheriff from part 1. Here's him as a young guy. The guy on TV, he's also here as a young guy. I think it's the sheriff's brother. I think the other cop from part 1 is here a little younger. I like that world building. I like how they are jumping back and forth through time. I just don't like the witch shit, and I don't like the fact that we're going to go to 1666, especially when this ended. I knew immediately I have zero interest in 1666, and I'll explain that in a second. So anyway, they have this love story going on, and I can appreciate it for what it is, but I think it's written weak. It's kind of soft, a bit rushed, and I wasn't really buying it. But again, it wasn't egregious. It wasn't like just absolutely terrible. Okay, so here's our second only gore kill in the whole friggin' thing, which is, again, it trips me up because they said they used so much blood on this, and I'm like, where? I mean, just because the blood is on set doesn't mean shit. You got to put the blood in front of the camera for the audience to see it. Like, where the fuck is the blood at, yo? Anyway, so here's the second kill with some blood. And here's the long hair. Like, she got slashed across the face with an axe. I think it was even, like, dug in her face and he pulled it out. And you just have hair, like, the hair wouldn't be there. It's these little things that just conflict. Unless the hair is embedded into the hatch, the wound, the hatchet wound. I mean, that would be cool, but you don't see a close-up image of it. But anyway, I thought that would have been a neat look. hair's all on her chest, and then the hair stops right where the wound stops. That would have been funny. Anyhow, so the girls are bonding. They used to be friends. They bond some in the tunnel. Up top, you have Tommy, the Jason Voorhees from Wish. He's still killing people, going after his sister. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, as far as the killer in the campground, that's it. And then the sisters reunite, and the friend reunites. And here's where we have two scenes where they're next to a ghost killer, and they just sit and talk. They're like, oh, you're my sister. You're so awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then this part drove me fucking nuts because the one girl has a broken leg, and she's like, I'm coming with you. She has this big speech. Now, mind you, there's a killer 4 feet away from you. He's not just a killer. He is a supernatural being that was possessed to kill from a witch that died like 200 friggin' years ago. You know, what year? Oh, no, 300 friggin' years ago. 330 some friggin' years ago. So, yeah, I fucked that math up. But 300 years. And they're just chatting away.
Now tonight.
She's got this moment. This is the night I've always been waiting for.
I've waited.
They got weird music too. Like the soundtrack for the time period is cool, but then they have
life for this.
You guys can't hear that, can you?
And now
What's going on with this, yo? Shit. All right. It's weird.
I found it.
I don't understand why you guys can't hear that. Oh, it's frozen. Oh, shit. My whole screen capture device is frozen. Let's just hope this isn't frozen. Fuck me. I just did like half an hour. I better not lose it. Let's finish this up. So she does a whole big speech, and I think my software crashed. And the killer just shows up behind her because he was on the floor 3 feet away, and he just kills her. And then we get the girl cuts his head off. That's another gore scene, even though he's a dead being. That's still cool. So this was neat. They go to the tree. It's really stupid though how you have a tree. The body is supposed to be buried under the tree, and they dig in one specific spot. All around the tree you can dig. They dig in one specific spot. They find a rock that says like the witch lives forever. And then that's it. They don't dig 2 feet this way, 3 feet this way. They don't dig 4 feet under the ground. They dig like a foot in the ground and a little this area, and then that's it. And then later when they go to take to dig the paw back up, the hand bones back up, they go to dig it back up, and they dig in one spot, and they immediately find it. People who didn't bury it go to dig it up, and it's in the mall. I don't know. I like this moment, though. The girls, they go to run. The sister's like, listen, I think they're after you because you bled on the bones. Get going. She does some hero shit. It was a cool scene. They got the slow-mo going. She gets uppercutted like a bam. And this is brutal. The sister just gets killed. The other one gets stabbed. She gets repeatedly stabbed up. I wish they didn't show this in the trailer, though. And I feel like they were really, now that I think about it, they were really trying to trick people into thinking this is the sister. Oh, look, she died in the trailer. And I really wish they didn't show it because it just would have been more impactful overall. Yeah, so they die, and so-and-so's going to show up. He's the only one around, but they die, and he shows up, CPR, brings her back to life. They got a good thing going here. This is where they do the reveal.
Christine Berman.
Her name's Christine Berman, not, what did they call her, Ziggy or something like that? All right, now my software works, so can you guys hear that? Okay, good. You guys can hear the thing. And yeah, and then it goes back to present day, and the girl's like, yo, we found the body. You found the hand. We got to go dig it up. So they go to dig it up, and they magically dig in the one fucking spot. Let me just make sure. I got to make sure. Let me get rid of the sound because, yeah. I mean, maybe there should have been dirt here, stuff here, thrown here, at least to have them dig somewhere. And let's be real. They're going to build them all around this tree, but landscapers are going to do landscaping around the roots. They're going to do preventative work because when roots grow, it's going to tear up. Where'd that little bug come from? The roots are going to tear through this mall. So they're going to do some preventative work there. There's no way. That hand, there's no fucking way, bro. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so they dig in one spot. And these little stupid moments, I don't understand it. Because you just throw dirt all over the place. And then we go, oh, they've been looking. They've been digging. It's not just like they go by a tree and dig immediately. I think the worst one was when they dug up looking for the body in the past because they dug in one little spot and then they just gave up because they found a rock. I don't know. Anyhow, and a rock looked like freshly scraped. So maybe I missed what's up with the rock, but maybe it's in the 1666. So the end of this is the girl, the annoying girl. I'm sorry. I can't vibe with her. She makes this funny face when she's doing her acting. And this is what turned me off. I started going, okay, you know what? This didn't annoy me like part one. It didn't have the slasher shit that I wanted. It didn't have the, Friday the 13th type of sackhead killer stuff that I wanted. Sure, he's walking around, he's swinging an axe, but the kills aren't creepy or cool or scary or bloody or gory. It's just a guy with an axe. Anyhow, now she buries the hand, and this is where I was thinking, how are they going to do all new characters in 1666, yet they're credited for this? Are they going to flash back and forth into time? Nope. The fucking actors are characters back in 1666. Where is it at? Oh, I should have put the... Yeah, so she wakes up. I think the ending was she woke up and she was the witch. Yeah, we're cross-eyed. So she wakes up and she is the witch. So we got her brother somehow. I don't fucking know.
Within each of us.
But the other characters, the characters that died in part one. All right, come on. The other characters that died in part one are in this. I mean, it looks cool. I think it looks like this is going to be like the set, though. Like they went out in a field and built a couple buildings, and this is pretty much our area, which could work. But, oh, great. Yeah, the sister from part two, I actually don't mind. She's got a good charm, a good charisma. Even I think the two from part one. Here's the one guy from part one, right? Is that him? Yeah, here's the dude from part two. This was Tommy, the sackhead killer. I keep calling him Jason from Wish, but that's... Anyhow, so they're all in it now. And there's the girl from part one. My brain didn't even want to process why. And I think that's Sam, right? I didn't even want to process why. Is this like I just don't even fucking care, man. I don't know. I have no interest for like that time period. I'm hoping I'll like it, but we're going to have to follow the same chick from part one as the witch. And the witch, though, I thought we were going to get like a witch character because she had her own look, you know? She had her own face. We saw her face, but no. I am a little interested just to see how do they explain all the characters from part one and part two back in this time period. Are their souls damned? I mean, how does that work? Is it... Because obviously it's going to be Dina as the witch. So would she be a witch? Like, is she living in the witch's body through this event that happened? Does that mean that Sam is living through this event in some sort of mystical way? Does that mean that Tommy is? Because that didn't look like Tommy. I mean, it looked like Tommy, but it didn't look like he was Tommy, in that time period. Same for this guy.
Darkness over us.
See? I don't know. I don't know, man. Obviously, it's some witch shit to wrap it all in, but I don't know. I don't have any interest for that one. We may check it out just to wrap up the trilogy. You guys let me know, though. Thoughts and opinions down below. I would have to say, in watching part 2, I enjoyed this more than I did part 1. And that was a bit of a surprise. Again, one element I'm still a little in awe of is how weak the horror was. I don't know. I think there's different types of horror in the horror genre where you get like, okay, that's horror. That's a slasher. And then you get like safe slashers, I don't even know if that's a good way to put it, but this felt like a safe slasher. I don't know how else to put it. It just felt safe. It's like, yeah, let's throw some sex in there and, we'll age it up a bit, make it seem a little more adult. But it's other than that, it's safe. Anyway, thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.